Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Coronavirus numbers on the rise, parts of the state shutting down. What does that mean for supplies at your local grocery store? Help me, Hank, tonight.
Could not get to average today for high temperatures, but we'll need the strong winds to do it tomorrow. We'll look at power outage potential with the warmth coming up.
All right, Ben, but we're going to begin here at 5 with the battle over certifying Wayne County's election results and the decision last night that caught the eye of President Trump and made headlines across the country.
Good evening. Two Republican canvassing board members first balked at certifying the election in a 2-2 party line vote. But
just a short time later, they then certified after getting a commitment to audit the election results. Rod Maloney spent the day getting answers on what was a string of dramatic events and the two no votes that sparked a lot of outrage, Rod.
It sure did, Devin. And of course, the president supported the Republicans who were saying that there were irregularities. He called them patriots, and he tweeted repeatedly about that. But then, shortly thereafter, the board unanimously certified the ballots. And so the question today is, who are these board of canvasser members? And there was a lot of reaction to all that went on. 40-year-old Monica Palmer of Grosse Pointe Woods is the Board of Canvassers chairperson. She's also a Grosse Pointe Woods political activist, particularly about its schools. An ethics complaint has been filed against her for alleged conflict of interest because of that work. The Wayne County Ethics Board is looking into that complaint. We went to her home today to ask her about last night. No one answered the door. 62-year-old William Hartman is a Wyandotte businessman who's been on the board since 2015. Last night he spoke with Local 4's Mara McDonald.
Did it make you think twice about your original vote?
No. Today, Detroit NAACP President Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony called last night's voting an example of racism.
The Republican representatives on the Wayne County Board of Elections canvassers by their stalling rejection of the will of the people until folks from around the city weighed in with their objections are a case in point.
Republican House Speaker Lee Chatfield disagrees.
I have sent letters to Antrim County. We've sent letters to Kent County. We've sent letters to the city of Detroit, right? That is wide-ranging, hitting different regions. This has nothing to do at all with where people live or the race that they are.
Now, here's the thing. The State Board of Canvassers is now going to get this, but the Secretary of State had to agree, or has agreed, to do an audit on all of these issues. And so right now, we've asked the Secretary of State to comment on that, but they say because there's pending litigation, they really have nothing to say. Back to you.
Well, Rod, what about the State Board of Canvassers and where things stand there?
Well, the State Board of Canvassers were supposed to meet today, Devin, first at 9 o'clock, then at 1:30, then they postponed the meeting. We think until sometime next week. The clock is ticking on all of this, and so we're going to take a look coming up on Local 4 News at 6 at how this all plays out, what the schedule is and how this is supposed to work and how it might not go that way.
All right, Rod, we will see you then. Meanwhile, President Trump continues to focus on challenging the election results and blocking the transition for the incoming administration.
The president paying $3 million for a partial recount in Wisconsin. Overnight, the president fired the top U.S. election security official, Christopher Krebs. His firing was expected as Krebs publicly denied the president's baseless claims of widespread fraud. The move is drawing criticism from both sides.
I disagree vehemently with his firing.
And it's time for President Trump to quit the nonsense, admit the truth, and move on. Anytime my Republican colleagues want to tell him that would be fine by me.
The Trump administration also facing criticism for reducing troop levels in Afghanistan and Iraq to 2,500 by January.
Today's number of new coronavirus cases shows a steep drop from yesterday, 5,772 new cases over the past 24 hours. That is 1,600 fewer than Tuesday. We've also lost 62 more Michiganders to the virus, though, over this past day.
The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services held a virtual conference today providing the most up-to-date information on the COVID-19 situation here in Michigan.
Now, Dr. Frank McGeorge was on that call and here now with a look at some of the data provided. Frank?
Yeah, Devin and Karen. So Dr. Sarah Lyon-Callow provided extremely wide-ranging information on the current status of the epidemic right here in Michigan. She took a deep dive into the data, looking at some trends that were either not highlighted before or have evolved to become more alarming. One look at this slide from her presentation clearly shows the explosion of COVID-19 across the state in the past 3 months. In September, there were many areas shaded gray or light blue with under 20 daily new cases per million people. Now the entire state is a deep purple.
Currently, all counties in the state are over 150 cases per million.
Another slide shows an interesting demographic shift since the spring. Focusing on the dark blue line, you can see in April, the greatest number of new cases per million was among African American individuals. Following the blue line through September, you can see it's been overtaken by the light baby blue and black lines, showing at present the highest number of daily new cases per million by race is occurring in white and American Indian individuals. She also covered some other effects of COVID-19.
We do look at data to understand how is COVID-19 and the response to COVID-19 influencing other kinds of healthcare services and public health services that people make use of in Michigan.
There was a fall in childhood preventative services like lead testing and vaccinations in the spring, but they're seeing some rebound. Emergency department visits are lower than in past years. EMS calls for opioid overdoses increased by 22% since 2019, and the proportion of emergency visits for mental health issues increased, but is trending down. Now, there was also hospitalization data presented. The most rapid increase in hospitalizations was actually in northern Michigan, but it's followed by the area that's encompassed by Oakland, Macomb, and St. Clair counties. If you remember one statistic, remember this one. At present, statewide, the number of people hospitalized with COVID is doubling every 2 to 3 weeks. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Frank. Now, with so many takeaways from today's update, the team at Click on Detroit has put together a list of all 97 of them. Yes, you heard that right, 97, and you can find a link to it right on our homepage at clickondetroit.com. Well, much nicer today, sun shining, though still fairly chilly.
Yes, so let's send it over to Ben. We really only need those temperatures to warm up just a bit.
We got a little bit today, Karen. We'll get a lot tomorrow, but we're going to have to take some winds with it. Current temperatures right now 41 degrees, but comparing what we have today with what we had yesterday, it's about a 5 to 10 degree warmth difference here, at least on our side of the state. We're going to see a bigger difference come tomorrow. So for the rest of the evening, temperatures sliding into the 30s. We are going to see mostly clear skies, at least to start out, but the winds are going to pick up. So that is really going to keep temperatures from dropping all that much tonight. And the winds could be a problem tomorrow. There's already lakeshore flood advisories out. We'll run through those and see just how fast these gusts are going to get. But there is some warmth before we get into a half and half wet weekend. More on that coming up in a few minutes, guys.
Well, the University of Michigan has reached a settlement with the victims in a sexual harassment case against a former provost. University says it will pay over $9 million to 8 women who say they were sexually harassed by Martin Filbert. An investigation found that Filbert committed sexual misconduct against students and staff members while employed at the university. He was removed as provost in March and then retired in June. Filbert has not talked publicly about the allegations.
Now to brand new information, the fatal shooting of a 7-year-old on Detroit's east side.
Police have arrested a 19-year-old in the case, but are not releasing his identity just yet. Right now, the hunt is still on for the man on the right, Christian Mitchell Childress. Let's get to Victor Williams for the very latest. Victor.
Yes, Devin and Karen, this is at least a little bit of good news for the people, hoping that those behind the death of Reginae Williams will be brought to justice. But just as you guys have said, police are still in the search for one person of interest. A 19-year-old has officially been arrested in connection with the October shooting death of 7-year-old Reginae Williams on Detroit's east side.
I'm really grateful that the police and everyone really came together and identified someone.
But police are still on the search for this man, 22-year-old Christian Mitchell Childress.
Yeah, it was really sad. It was sad. It touched my heart. It did, because I'm used to looking at her every day, you know.
A neighbor who did not want to go on camera constantly remembers Reginae and how she used to play all around Bedford Street.
She used to ride her bike up and down the street all the time, and Past my yard, she either turned around right in front of my yard or the lady's yard next door and went on back on home. Yeah.
But now those sweet memories have been polluted with the reminder of how the 7-year-old died while on her own couch in what's believed to be a drive-by shooting.
We heard pow, 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 pow. And then the next thing we know, we heard a lot of crying and screaming outside.
She's now anticipating that justice will fully be served. Reginae was one of the youngest children living on the block.
To know that the only little kid, on the smallest kid, something like that happened to, yeah, that was terrible.
And police are looking to the public for any type of information that can lead to the arrest of this man. So if you know about his whereabouts, you're asked to contact them or leave a tip through Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Reporting live downtown, Victor Williams, Local 4.
All right, Victor, it is set to be the first COVID-19 vaccine submitted to the FDA.
Ahead, we'll talk to a participant in the Pfizer trial who's also part of our Local 4 family. See what it's really like to be a part of this historic research and what motivated him to join the study in the first place. Sean.
A man from Wisconsin. He joins the group Wolverine Watchmen. Now he's charged in that plot to allegedly kidnap the governor. We'll take you inside the courtroom today.
Coronavirus numbers up and shoppers out in full force. Help Me Hank hitting the local stores, showing you what's available right now and what's not.